What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. This will be the start of a series on how to fully tune up your snowboard or skis. So I have most of my lineup behind me. This is a Burton Custom X Flying V. This is a Jones flagship. This is a Jones flagship, and this is the same shape as the Jones flagship, but it's in split. It's called the Solution. And all of these boards behind me need to be tuned up. I have one extra board that I didn't end up using too much this season that is put away. The supplies that I have in front of me on this table, I'm sure I'm gonna add a few things to the mix throughout the video. This is rubbing alcohol, just to clean off all the areas that you're planning on patching up, whether it be P-Tex or epoxy. It's good to have a clean surface to adhere to. This is an air duster, so in areas where you have delamination on the side of your board, you spray the duster inside to get all the dirt and debris out, also for a better adhesion. This is a preference, it's not required, but you can tape the edges of your board with masking tape or painter's tape, and it's just very easier cleanup. A clean microfiber. I have marine weld. This one is the fast cure, so it sets in 5 minutes, cures in an hour. But what I've heard with recommendations is that it's almost better to get the slow curing, maybe 24-hour cure. But do get marine weld for its waterproofness and flexibility. This is just something I picked up at Walmart. Any sort of syringe in general, pipette, something like that would make it a lot easier to apply it into the area. This might be a little big, but we'll test out how it works. And this is a waxing kit that I actually had sent to me this winter from Outdoor Master. It kind of has everything you need, from the iron, brushes, comes with P-Tex, scrapers, metal scraper, plastic scraper, sandpaper, all different files. It's a great kit, so I'll be using this to do the final tune on my boards, but the biggest thing right now is starting the epoxy, because that's going to take a full day. So I'll walk up to the camera and show you what a bad delamination looks like. This is my rock board. I believe it's a 2020 Jones flagship, and I've just beaten the shit out of this thing. I have used this for way longer than I should have, and I would say half the board's delaminated. So I'll bring it up close to you. So here, the board was delammed, but this currently is still sealed from a job that I did earlier. 4 or 5 inches. Flexible. Big delam. We also have some cracking in the top sheet from where the bindings used to be on both ends, as well as some moisture creeping under the top sheet. You can see it. Let's see if I can see it here. Yeah, right there. But these are just examples of a bad board. What I would recommend is don't even fix up your board that's like this. It's already beyond repair. I will say this one over here, I'm not going to work on it at all. It's one of those things where I've already patched it so many times, and there's always going to be a weak spot in it. I have other boards to use. I'll rip that on like rocks. As for my split, no significant edge damage around anything. Only a few marks that require P-Tex. I think there's some lines down it I'm gonna have to fill, but this kind of just needs a wax. Maybe some slight P-Tex work, no epoxy. As for this board, this is a very great board, very sturdy, super light, but as you can see, I've already done my fair share of P-Tex work with all these black marks. But this is one, a new one that I need to fill very deep, goes all the way down to the base material. So I have this here, that's right next to the edge. I tried to P-Tex it already. The P-Tex fell out, so I think I'm gonna try my best with epoxy to fill this area. So you can see from the discoloration that there is an air pocket or moisture underneath here and here. So I'll be cutting out these areas slightly and filling it with epoxy too. So unfortunately, this board behind me, I sent in for a warranty claim. I only wrote it for about 2 weeks. It was a new board. let's open this up and see what the damage is. Great board, I love it, but it's just a few spots in it that are weak spots. I consistently delam under, what is it, my heel side edge right here, so slight delamination. They already marked it out where it was, and I'll need to put epoxy in between this edge right here. As for the core shot, there's a huge line that goes down the board this way. So to start this out, you gotta do some prep work to it in order to fill in this delaminated section here with epoxy. A little bit of rubbing alcohol and microfiber, paper towel, whatever you want to use. Just clean the area that you're planning on epoxying to remove it from any dirt and grime. And I use rubbing alcohol because it is good cleaning agent, but it also dries on itself, so you're not soaking any more moisture into the affected area. Just gonna try my best to spray any debris out of there. I don't imagine that there's gonna be too much in there, but it's always good to clean the area out. And this step is not necessary, but it helps with cleanup, and you're not necessarily scraping epoxy off your sidewall. You can kind of peel it off a little more easily. So I put the syringe together. This is actually a food syringe or a meat syringe to add flavor. It's called like a flavor injector. You don't want to pry this open too much, but you do need to make sure you get the epoxy inside. So I just work my way in with this. So that's not with too much pressure, but you can obviously see how big that is. And again, I have had recommendations to use one of the 24-hour slower curing ones rather than this, but I'm gonna go with this. This is also white, but I don't really care what color it is. That's more than enough. Alright, we're actually going. I thought this wasn't going to work. That works really well. Going back up to the area while it's already pried open. Alright, let's make a little more. I guess just try my best to get it in there. So this thing didn't work out too well. I think if I did it faster or had a longer cure time for my epoxy, it would have been a little easier. But at this stage, what you're going to do while it's still liquid is wipe up all of the excess. Trying not to get any on your board, because I'm just wiping it into the painter's tape. But this is without it clamped, so after I clamp it, more of it's going to come out. So yeah, unfortunately that didn't work, and we're gonna have to trash it because the epoxy is already hardened, so I'll just leave that in this. Hope for the best. We still have some more epoxy for the other boards, but due to my clamp situation, that's about it. Gonna go ahead and put this in the garage and let it set overnight. So So I have a little knife here. Any areas we are going to apply epoxy, you want to get them clean, and there's little pieces of plastic or anything poking up, take them off. If you see any discoloration, if there's air bubbles underneath it, that means moisture can get there, that means water can get there. Also bad, that's what we're trying to prevent. So in areas like this and this, I will be taking some of the material out to make sure I can get epoxy to fill in everything. So we have 2 bubbles here, bubble here, an area here I have to clean up, take out. This is right along the edge. Special attention to stuff on the edge like this, and up here. This is another air bubble, and this is just a ridiculous core shot. Went straight down to the base material. I'm gonna need to peel up some of that as well. So this knife wasn't too sharp, and the tip of it is a little bent. So I actually just ran out to the local store. I think it was a True Value. Just grabbed some blades. Gonna do it the right way. So I just use this blade to clean up all these a little bit nicer, like this. You just make it have smooth edges and make sure to trim anything that's peeled up from the base. So you actually might want to go a little wider than you think. Same thing with here. Really dug that out. 2 air bubbles here. These were both air bubbles. That was the big chunk in the middle. You basically want to remove anywhere where dirt, moisture, or air are underneath your base material. So I'll have to let this cure. I'm gonna let it cure overnight. But yeah, I taped off the affected areas. If there's any residual, I can scrape it off or sand it off before I wax it. But it's not looking too bad. I gotta keep this relatively level. I'll store it in the garage. These are the 2 boards, just got finished using the epoxy, just waiting for it to cure. The Delam here, all clamped down. This is the longer core shot section, and I ended up removing some more material from the edges to get a better adhesion. Same thing for here. Resume back with the tune-up process in about a day, or I might just wait the weekend.